That's a beautiful look, Joe.
You binged it?
New screenshot right there. Yes, binged.
Oh,
I binged bonged it.
you bing it. Oh. Oh.
Oh, so
Well,
he is. Welcome to the Double Cup of Joe show. We're here
we made it.
in this place. Yes, we made it. We made the show, and we made it to the show.
Yeah. I'm so happy.
Yes, happiness. Hey, who? And welcome. If you
How's it
haven't been
going?
here before, this is the Double Cup of Joe show. It's a little early, but
You can
we're
say
here to
that
have.
fast. You can say blah, 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 blah. And we know what you mean. That's all good.
hmm DCJ. It's easier to say. And that rhymes, so that's
DCJ,
nice.
but then it sounds like some kind of political thing, like the Washington D.C. Journal or something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
And that'd be just.
All right. So yes, we're the Double Cup of Joe
Oh.
show. we don't want to be the teacher from Peanuts. So we've become the Double Cup of Joe show. Never shorten it. Always the full thing.
Yes.
Anyway, to give you a hint as to where our name comes from, I am your host Joe.
And I'm the other host, Joe.
So if you can't figure it out from that, good luck. But
And we have Joe A and Joe B.
yep,
When I'm producing, it's Joe B and Joe A. But
or
that
BA.
happens like one time ever.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
Because they're like, yeah, you kind of stink at it. So let's make sure that doesn't happen anymore. That's management talking.
Yeah, management.
They're
Well,
like, Joe, you're not any good at producing this show. So let's keep it with Joe. Good job.
it'd probably be better if the one time you were trying to produce, like you weren't on your own doing it.
Well, hey, but still, you gotta be on top of things, right? This is how it works.
Something like that.
Yeah. Good morning, Sophia. Good morning, Box of Life. Good morning, Raka. Good morning, you guys. Box of Life, you're here. We saw you last night on Don't Muddle Monday. And now yeah, well, Joe didn't see you because he wasn't there, but Ryan and I saw you. And then not here.
And now Joe's back.
This is a different black shirt. I'm wearing a different black shirt. I changed it. So
I'll take your word for it.
That doesn't matter. See, that's the cool thing about being on stream. Like, you know what? I might have nasty coffee breath and you don't even know.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Until we get to that 4D scented YouTube videos that we will get here in the near future.
It's so real you can smell their breath. Please no. Please no. I don't want to smell the dragon butt sandwich that guy just ate. Like, that's
So anyway, guys, welcome to the show. We're here to have a great morning, and we hope that you have a great morning. So I hope you can wake up with us. I'm currently waking up. Joe's been awake for several hours at this stage because he's
yes.
a beast. So yeah, hopefully we can all learn a little bit from other Joe about getting up this morning, and hopefully Joe can be patient with me and himself today. So before we get
I gotta
into
be
the
patient
topic,
with myself.
yes.
Which is the topic today.
Yes, it is the topic today, but we can't. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We have a
Let's
routine.
not get at. Let's be patient.
Yes, let's be patient. So, man, if anyone watches this show, they're probably thinking, "Man, these guys are totally on drugs," but we're not. We're high on life.
I am. I'm on caffeine, man.
I'm also caffeine, but slightly
Caffeine,
less. No.
Sudafed, Claritin,
Just all your morning like allergy meds
vitamins.
and stuff.
It's allergy season, man.
Oh
It's
man, I
crazy.
know. Probably seen you
So
sneeze
you know,
5 times.
I'm gonna go to step 2. I'm going straight to step 2. I'm looking forward to winter because that's when allergies go away.
I, I'm with you. Let's skip the thankfulness step.
Yeah,
All
right.
right, for everyone who hasn't been to the show before, we have a 3-step routine that's coming up here. It's what are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move life forward?
Hmm.
Generally, we do them in order, but today we're going to do 2, 1, 3 to make sure all of your minds are blown by what we're doing. So Joe has just told us
Whoa.
what he's looking
Whoa.
forward to,
I did. I pulled a raka.
but now we're going to make him tell us what he's thankful for, so we
Oh,
can hit all the steps. Pull the rocket. Oh no.
yeah, because yesterday he did that. He skipped step 1, went straight to step 2.
Yeah, but he was trying to stay ahead of us, which means he's going to skip straight to step 4.
Oh my goodness. Step 4, nothing. The nothing step.
Oh, he's done it.
Good job, man. You made it. Awkward silence. What is it? Oh, did you turn it over to me
Yeah, I
to ask
didn't
what I think? Oh,
know. What are you
I didn't
thankful
know.
for?
I was like, you gonna ask like okay. This is how it works. Okay, I see. All right. I am thankful this morning. I'm thankful for the fact that I have goals because you know, it'd be boring. If I didn't. I'd be like, I wouldn't have anything to chase after. I've been there before, and I think back to when I didn't have goals, and I was like, I'm so glad that I have them now because it was just hard. And the thing about goals, you can just decide to have any type of goal you want, anything, what in any aspect of your life. It can be a goal to get up earlier, or it can be a goal to
I can't even imagine what that cough was. That was
it
weird.
can it can be a goal to produce this show as a podcast. It can be a goal to finish your instrumental album. It could be a goal to whatever, like you can decide that it's amazing. There's a lot of times we get goals handed to us by our teachers or by our employers or by our parents or by some other person out there in the world. But you become dictator when you invent your own goal. You might make a difference in the world. Start doing that. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have learned how to set goals and that I have some to run after.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe has some really cool goals. I'm looking forward to seeing what those end up being.
I'm not telling anybody about them anymore.
Yeah, he's
I
got.
usually bring them up at the conference call. Not anymore. Keep
Oh,
them
now
secret.
he's gonna have secret goals, which is even
Secret
more
goals.
exciting.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-bum. So yeah, that was step number 1. What are you thankful for? We started with step number 2, which is what are you looking forward to? So we get on to step number 3. Final step.
Wait. No, I got to pull a raka
Wait, what?
because well, actually, this is a TEF. I'm pulling a TEF.
Okay.
We're going to coin this the TEF. Actually, no, it is the raka and it's the Jeff and it's a whole bunch of people in the chat. I am thankful for goals. I'm looking forward to achieving my goals. And today I'm going to work on my goals.
Nice.
All 3 steps are the same thing.
Makes it
Ta-da.
easier to remember.
Thankful for this 3-step process. Yes. Ta-da! No. So I'm looking forward to achieving them. Today, to move forward, I am very, very lucky. I have mostly Black Static and Swerve day. I have very few inspections to do, so I can work on BSS stuff all day. And I'm gonna work on some music. I'm gonna work on some podcasts and videos. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I'm gonna do Taekwondo, which is gonna be cool because belt testing is in like 2 days.
Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta be ready for that. And actually, in 3 days, my youngest son is testing for his black belt. Whoa, that's a milestone right there. So, anyway, did we finish the three-step process already? It's only
You just did it.
6:17. We shouldn't have finished it yet.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait a minute. I thought we were gonna fall behind, but now we're way ahead. Wow.
Wait a minute. I thought we were supposed to be patient. This was supposed to take longer.
What are, what are we gonna do? Oh man. If only you guys knew. I think at one stage before we did the show live, we got it down to like 15 minutes. We
The
had
whole
the
show?
yeah, the whole show. We had the three-step process down to like seven, and then the discussion down to like seven. It was crazy.
Yeah. We'll get there again. Yeah.
It's better for podcasting, in case you guys didn't know. And
Mhm.
also, if we weren't so silly half the time, we probably could do it again.
Yeah, but the silliness is fun because you laugh and it's, you're waking up and gotta have some fun and laughing and stuff.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm. Always works 10 out of 10. Thanks, Sophia. That's how I passed math class. That means she got a perfect score.
We
Nice.
skipped steps. We didn't skip them. We just skipped around in them.
Yeah, we did do all the steps.
Yeah. This is
Yes.
just step 2 came first, and then step 1, and then step 3.
Hmm.
I'm, you know, even I'm confused. Well, I'm usually confused. So I guess that's not that big a deal. But I'm confused by this three-step process this morning. We should move on.
All right. Yes, we shall. Please be patient with us as we continue here with our topic. This week we're talking about patience, which is a
Yes.
wonderful topic. And if you were going to learn any topic that we've discussed so far, this one would probably do you the most good. I'm going to say that about every topic we talk about from now on. So, um, but anyway, so without further ado, we're going to have Joe discuss how to be patient with yourself.
Yeah. This is very, very appropriate actually, because I'm learning really, really I'm trying really, really hard to learn how to be patient with myself. And I've learned a few things over the years about this, and I still am light years away from having it mastered. So I'm turning it back over to Joe to talk about because I don't know much about this topic yet, apparently. But I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you.
Oh, I was like, this is our first on the show.
You get to be the host and talk about it first.
uh,
How about that?
that's fine.
Like, you're messing with this show. Stop it. Yeah. Um
Joe's like he recognizes that I'm an accountant and having things go the same way every time is how we this is how we do things.
gotta be in order. Like, yeah, do it. um
If we don't, we
no.
freak out. This is what happens to accountants. We get all twitchy. We don't
What do
know
you
what to
mean
do.
there's a tax reform?
No,
No.
no changes. Stop. It hurts us. It burns. Sorry.
Oh my. Well, this is a great example. I'm being patient with myself and trying to talk about this because actually this has been a really really a struggle for me. I'm a perfectionist at heart, and so everything I do, I want it to be just right. I want it to, you know, like, and I think that's an inherent thing in the arts and as a musician and everything like that. Just everything I want it to be so precise and so right. And when it's not, I usually get down on myself. I usually beat myself up. I'm usually like, "Ah, man, you just really stink at this." And so I've learned a little bit how to be patient with myself, how to be accepting of myself, and to say, you know, just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it's not acceptable. for one thing. And the other thing is this is all part of the learning process. When I figured out that messing things up is okay because it's how we learn, that was a huge step in me learning how to have patience with myself. And I would encourage you to start to adopt that frame of mind where it's like, we get taught so much. I know a lot of you guys are either in school or most recently done with school or whatever. I remember when I was going through school, it was like if you got something wrong on a test, it was like you got punishment all over your paper, like there's like check marks and red and da da da. It's like, oh, and now you got a C minus or a D minus or whatever. Sometimes I've even failed stuff before. My first whole semester at college, I like had a 0.6 average or something like that. It was horrible. Like I was on academic probation, all kinds of great stuff, right? But now I understand school is a different culture than actual real life. In school, you get to study all this stuff, right? You study, you study, you study, you study, you study, and then you take a test. And then they test you on the stuff you studied. In real life, you get the test. That's it. There ain't no studying. You just get the test, and then you see how you did, and you fail. And it's like, uh
And you fail. Oh, okay.
you're like, dang it. Wasn't I supposed to have some study time? Like, no, 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 no. You just get the test and then you fail it. And then you learn from those failures. See, that's the thing. And I would I would love to see schools start to do that a little bit. You probably couldn't do it in every subject, but like at the beginning of a unit, you just give the students a test, right? You thought you muted your cough, but boom, fail. Ha. Sorry.
The best
Sorry,
part,
Joe.
Joe, is I can mute myself on this stream, so you wouldn't know because you'd hear it through the Zoom call. So even if I did,
Oh, dang.
they definitely could hear. It, though.
Maybe you're right. That's true. You are using a different microphone than the one. Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Wouldn't it be cool in school to have a teacher just hand out a test at the beginning of the unit? And then based on your previous knowledge, you try it and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm terrible at this. And then and then everybody just like stinks at it and fails and all over the place. But what that does is I think that would prepare us for actual real life. Because
Mhm.
in real life, when we're faced with something new, it's like, oh no, how do I deal with this? But if we can lessen the freak out factor and understand, hey, this is just new. I'm not good at it yet. It's going to take me some trial and error. I'm going to have to fail a few times to figure out how this works. And then eventually I'm going to get it. Now, sometimes it helps to see somebody demonstrate something in front of you. Sometimes we can do a little bit of research before we actually try and do something. But a lot of times, man, in life, you just, here you go, try. And then you learn by making mistakes and making adjustments after you make those. So when I started to figure out that that's the process of real life, that was my first step in having some patience with myself and understanding it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make a mistake. And you got to be patient with yourself. Another area is in physical fitness, right? I know it's not a Joe talk without physical fitness in there somewhere. But it's just I find it to be such an important part of being healthy, and of having a good mood and all that kind of stuff, right? I just find it to be an integral part of that. And um, when I first started exercising, I was way overweight, and I wanted to get down to a healthy weight. I wanted to get to the point where I felt good. I wanted to get to the point where I could climb a flight of stairs without being winded. I wanted it to not hurt when I stood up out of my car. There were all kinds of things that I wanted to have happen, but I just wanted my life to be a lot more smooth, you know? And the thing about physical fitness is it takes a while. You have to be patient because your body doesn't change overnight. We see these body transformations in Hollywood. Those still take almost a year of consistent effort in not only exercise but also what you eat, everything, right? All of that takes time. Building a successful business takes time. Getting through college takes time. All these things take time, and it's like patience is one of those things that we need to learn in order to get through. And increasingly, it seems more and more difficult because everything's available right now at our fingertips. Internet speeds keep getting faster. The microwave, we got dinner immediately, right? Fast food. You go to the drive-through. You think about, hey, I want some McDonald's. I'm gonna go to the drive-through. You go to the drive-through, you get it in like 5 minutes. 5 minutes from the time you thought about it, you got food in your hand, right? And it's just amazing. But when we can learn to have patience with ourselves, it just makes things so much easier. So with that, there's my little closing statement. I'm turning it over to Joe now. You ready? Okay, have it.
I got it. So thanks, Joe. It's good stuff. I think you're right. I think there's a lot. Man, I mean, we could get into schools and stuff if we really wanted to. But man, that would be we'd be opening a can of worms, as they say. I don't know who actually says that, but somebody pronounces that.
Can you
So
imagine trying to change the curriculum?
I I feel like you wouldn't even have to change the curriculum necessarily. You'd have to just change the way you approach the curriculum. My mom's a teacher, in case anyone
Hmm.
didn't know, and I taught golf. So um, yeah, when you teach golf, it's the test, and then you go figure out what you've got to fix. Like you go play, and then you're like, I'm bad at these things, and then you have to go study them. So it's definitely the other side of the end of school is significantly different than during school. In some ways, that's okay, and in some ways, you hope that school is there to teach you things about real life. So um, I'm I'm thinking there's a couple of ways to do that to go around thinking of failure differently in school. I think the primary issue and the reason that most teachers don't at this stage is so much scholarship money is attached to grades these days
Hmm.
that grades have generally just been like they don't want anyone to fail because then there's no way they get into college because the money's out.
Well,
So
and then funding probably too.
yeah.
Funding for the school. You got to prove that you're doing good in order to get better funding.
hmm So because generally speaking, when you let people fail, it's harder to prove how much they've learned. Like there's if you just say, "Oh, look, they got this much on this test," like, they're all super smart, versus like, "Hey, they've learned from point A to where they are now so much." Um, it's better for the student, but it's much more difficult for the school to quantify. So, anywho, there's a lot that goes into that, and I think uh, as we think about things, in the I'm going to say political sphere, but just a cultural sphere of the world, patience is really important. Um, this topic just kind of fits with lots of things are going on that seem like they're going bad right now. Uh, but I mean, in reality, we live in a time of this world that's actually significantly better than any other point that we've ever lived. So be patient. Things get better. So the topic today is actually just patience with yourself. So we can generalize patience as much as we want, but uh, we should probably be a little bit more specific. So
Yeah,
uh,
be specific, Joe.
I'm gonna be specific.
Thank you. Be specific where I wasn't because I messed that up too.
What are you talking about? You were talking about exercise and stuff. Like that's specifically you.
Oh, I okay, I did a little bit.
Yeah. So
A little.
we're
Just a skosh.
we're bringing it in. So um, I think Sophia kind of got it a little bit earlier of talking about being patient with yourself when things aren't going very well, when you have failures or setbacks or issues, recognizing that it's a learning process. Hi, Jose. Um, it's a process. Learning is a process. Growing is a process. Life is a process. Um, we're gonna say that word a lot, I think, this week, but
It's a process.
processing. Um,
Blank the process.
yes, everything is a process. Uh,
Pancakes, process.
so there really is a process to everything if we wanted to talk about it. But instead, I'm going to kind of give you an example from my life. Times to be patient with myself. So, um, in case you didn't know, I was a golf professional, not a pro golfer. Nobody was seeing me on TV, but I got to be a golf pro. And part of getting that degree out of school meant I had to play really well, and I didn't play really well for a long time. Um, in fact, I went from high school to college and quit golf for a year because I was so worn out. Just I burned myself out playing. Um, and one of the things I learned from that is, you can't expect too much of yourself. You can't be um, you can't have higher expectations than what you've put into something. So, for example, I didn't pick up golf until I was already 10, which I mean isn't that late, but um, I also didn't attempt to play professional level golf until I was like 17. Like that wasn't where my practice had gone. I wasn't trying to be the best ever. I was for the many of the first few years I was playing for fun. So because that was my objective, I you don't want to rank yourself based on, oh, well, now I'm trying to be a pro. I should be there. That doesn't make any sense. Like you didn't practice that way. You didn't set yourself up that way. You didn't do many of the things earlier on that would have put you in a position to do that. Why would you expect yourself to be there already? Um, and so I had to learn, like, hey, take a step back. You are where you are. You can't change that. Like where you are right now is where you are right now. You don't get to go back in time and tweak things. You can only tweak things moving forward. So I got to say, hey, you're doing all right. Let's go back and play some more, and we'll get better starting now. It took me a few years, and I finally passed my playing test after I graduated from the rest of college.
Oh,
I think I had like a couple more months before they were just gonna be like, yeah, you don't get this one. You don't get this degree because you never passed your playing test. So I'm glad I was able to do that. I don't use that degree anymore. I let it lapse, but it was an experience. It was a learning experience where I had to learn to be patient with myself. You look like you wanted to say something, Joe.
well, I just had a question. A degree can lapse?
No. So the certification. So
Oh, so okay,
yeah, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
So, for those of you who didn't know, man, I'm going to talk about golf today. Um, golf is a game that teaches you patience. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Golf is a game. If you're playing behind me, you will learn patience, or you'll just play through.
yeah. Um,
Because I'm gonna be like, where'd my ball go, man?
going to search in the woods.
Yep.
Um, but so with both of my degrees, an accountant now, but I was a golf pro. There's certifications. So there was a point at which it was gonna have all those fun letters behind my name. But to keep your PGA, Professional Golfers Association of America, um, certification, you have to keep up on continuing ed, things like that, and continuing ed costs money. In case you didn't know. And
Yes.
at the time of my career, I didn't make significantly large sums of money. So instead, I said, well, I could do this, or I could let it lapse because I'm broke and I would like to use that money for food. So that's what I did. I'd let that lapse, but um, I had to be patient with myself, even in that, to say, "Hey, I'm I'm okay with where I'm at. Like, you put in all this time and all this effort to get this. Leaving it doesn't mean that I did anything wrong, and I can accept that fact." We talked about a little bit that patience can mean kind of grace, this kind of idea of forgiveness. So forgiving myself for the fact that like I'm about to toss away like 11 hard years of practice and stuff to get somewhere for something better. It's okay. It is truly okay. If you've got something going on in your life that's been bugging you for years and years and years, and you're like, I don't want to leave it because I've been doing it for many, many years. I feel like I'm giving up. It's okay to leave something that's beating you up for something better. It will always be okay to do that. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Joe, who's got much wiseness to spread.
Yes.
Bye, Lilia. Have
That's
fun.
my wisdom face right here.
Mm.
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 Yeah. Um. uh what you were starting with there in patience with yourself. If you have some kind of a bad habit, or if you have something going on, like I'm not saying golf is a bad habit,
But it is. No.
but if but I know sometimes we pick up habits that do not help us, right? And sometimes we just kind of get involved in that, and we just kind of fall into this bad habit, and sometimes it takes a while to get rid of it. Sometimes we try different approaches. Sometimes maybe there's addiction involved with it. Maybe, who knows? But we know I can remember there were many different times when I had habits that I needed to change, and I resisted changing them because I thought it was going to be hard, and sometimes it was. But at the same time, I would try and I would fail, and I would try again and I would fail, and I would try again and I would fail. And it seems like, there's been so many times in my life where I've had to try something to get rid of a bad habit or to start a good habit. I've had to try over and over and over again in order to just start. Where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then I didn't. And then, okay, I'm gonna regroup. I'm gonna get all set. Maybe what did I do wrong? And then I think about it and I plan and like, okay, this time I'm going to try this and this and this approach, and then go. And then, nope, failed again. All right, back again to the drawing board. Let's try this and this and this. Well, sometimes what my problem was is I kept going back to the drawing board and thinking about it too much. Now there's a time for thinking about stuff and analyzing, but I tend toward something called analysis paralysis, like I, constipation of the brain. And where like I get caught in the analyzing loop and I never take any action when the actual cure is to just continue to try, to continue taking the action. It's not sitting back and thinking all the time, but it's actually doing it. And in the doing, that's how you learn. And so now I have as a part, I say a daily affirmation. And one of those affirmations in there is I'm a man of action, and I try to program myself in that direction because I truly I do enjoy taking action. I like doing things. Those of you who know me, I like to keep myself fairly busy. And it's like if I don't, then I feel unproductive or something. I don't know. But but that's something that I learned over time was that because I know myself, I know that I will shrink back and think for a long, 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 long time before I try something again. And that very aspect there slows down my progress to the point where then I start to beat myself even more. And I'm like, and then the patience with myself continues to wane. But I found out when I'm actually trying, when I'm actually in action doing something, even if I'm failing miserably at it, at least I know that I'm learning through those actions and those mistakes. And at least that way I can be like, well, at least I'm trying. Even though I didn't quite make it this time, at least I'm trying. And you know what? I'll try again tomorrow, or I'll try again in an hour, or I'll try again right now. Whatever time frame I have, because sometimes you try something and you fail at it, and you're just like, ah, oh, tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep first. But those moments, patience, we talked about Joe is getting at too, the grace involved with this. This is where you get to apply that grace to yourself. This is where you get to say, you know what? Even though you might have not succeeded at this point in time, it's okay. You're still a valuable person. You still have talents and skills and abilities, and you still can try again. It's okay. If you really want to change your life, if you really want to move forward, then just one failure doesn't mean to stop. It just means you get to learn a lesson and try again. And the more lessons you get under your belt, what's amazing thing that happens is you start to understand that doing anything is a process. I'm a musician. I've been playing drums for I've been playing drums where I've actually had instruction now for 32 years. Isn't bad for a 19-year-old. And I
Whoa.
played before that without instruction. I've played for probably 5 years before that without being instructed. I've always loved playing the drums. And, one of the things that, people ask me is how did you get to be a good drummer? I just did it over time. Being a musician, that's what it is. Anybody who wants to pick up a musical instrument, you totally can do it. But you don't have to practice for a long, 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 long time in a day. But you do have to practice many, many days in a row for short periods of time. They had practice reports when I was growing up in school, and the ideal time was 30 minutes per day.
Mm.
I know a guy who became a professional singer in like 15 minutes a day, but he did it every day and he blocked out that 15 minutes every day. I can't remember the guy's uh, name on screen or whatever, but I remember hearing this guy's story. I'll have to look it up and say it next time. Maybe when we're talking about the fruits of patience on Thursday, I'll be able to remember this story. I'll look it up. But at any rate, he wanted to be a singer and he auditioned and he got turned down. And he was in a band where he played the bass and he wanted to sing as well. And his bandmates told him no. Like, no, you can't sing. Why? Because you can't sing. So he just decided, he's like, I want to be a good singer and I'm going to learn how to do this. And so he just practiced 15 minutes a day. and he committed himself to 15 minutes every day. And over the course of a year or two, now he's a professional singer. Amazing. But so really, that's why patience has to be such a key thing with yourself, especially if you're learning some kind of a new skill or you're trying to get better at a certain skill. These things always take time and consistent effort. And so learning to have patience with yourself through that journey, that's a real key step. So we got to understand anything worthwhile is going to take time. Anything you want to learn to do will take time. It'll take consistent effort. And so messing up at the beginning doesn't mean you're going to be a failure totally at the end. It just means that you got stuff to learn along. And the more you learn those lessons, the better you get. And the more you look back over all the lessons you've learned, you look back and you're like, man, I messed up so many times, but look at how far I've come. That gives you a great source of confidence. And it also sets you up to have patience with yourself in other things. You start to realize this is the journey to anything I want to do, which is start. I decide I want to do this. I start. I really am terrible at it. Okay, good. I know. So I learned some stuff and I move forward. I learned some stuff, I move forward, but I keep moving forward, just like the Disney movie or the Pixar, whatever movie that was. Meet the Robinsons.
Yep.
Whole tagline phrase was keep moving forward. So do it. Anyway, that's my spiel. Joe.
Nice. Thanks, Joe. That's good stories. Um, in case you guys were wondering, how powerful this 15 minutes a day thing can be, I I have a I had a teacher when I first got my accounting. Man, this is 25 years, and I've got a lot of new cool stories. I kid you guys not. Once you get out of school, you'll have so many more stories than you ever thought you could imagine, and it's really fun. Um, my
Fun for you to talk about them, not always fun for people to listen. Like when you get old and your grandkids,
Yeah.
like, I remember when I was your age, blah, blah, blah.
Speaking of
Anyways.
speaking of grandkids, I'm going to talk about Penny, who was one of my bosses when I first started in accounting, and she she had this really cool way, or really just she learned things. She loved to learn things. So she used to have terrible handwriting, so she retaught herself how to write, and now she has this beautiful calligraphy. It's amazing,
Wow. That's
and that was
calligraphy is really cool.
So 15 minutes a day. That's what she did. She taught herself. Nope, you're not going to do any more writing. You're just going to relearn to write. That's what she did. She's like, I want to learn the violin. She learned to play the violin. She's like, I want to learn to draw. She learned to draw. We had pictures of her art hanging up all over our office because it was really dang good. um,
And all just in 15 minutes a day?
Yep, 15 minutes a day, and that's why we want you to take. When we say be patient with yourself, realize that the average human lifespan is 70 years. That's a long time. Like you can do a lot with 70 years. In case you didn't know, like, don't let what you did for a year ruin your life. Don't let what happened to you one time ruin your life because you've got a lot to go. That's part of being patient with you. That you've got plenty of time. You got plenty of time to get good at as many things as you really want to be good at. Look at me. I've talked about what I've done. I've switched careers already. I'm 26. 26 years old, and I've switched complete career fields already.
2 degrees, right?
Two different degrees.
Two
Like
totally different degrees. Golf degree and accounting
accounting.
degree.
Yep. Like dang.
Dang. How many years in college was that?
It was only 5, actually.
5
Yep.
total?
Yep. Five
Two
five and a
degrees?
half. Yeah.
Dude, I spent 8 years in college. I don't have any degrees.
I I did some interesting planning. I got some of my accounting classes to count for my golf classes and vice versa.
See, a little bit of
So
combining stuff. There we go.
yeah, and I came in from high school with like a year's worth of credits, so that helped. I was pretty close to 8. um, but anyway, what we wanted to say is, and I'm gonna use it. We use this. I've used this euphemism a lot this last week on the show. Give yourself a butter's worth amounts of patience. Uh,
Buttersworth.
butter's worth. But well, one, that's a syrup, but two, um, when I talk about Buttersworth, you can add boatloads of butter to anything and just taste better. So give yourself lots of patience, and you're gonna find out that life is gonna go in an amazing direction for you. So, um, and one of the things that you get to find out as you keep going in life, um, is that you keep learning. Like I keep looking back at the things I've learned because of what I was interested in at the time. And it's super fun. Like I learned a lot about airplanes for a while because I was like really interested in airplanes. Um, so all the emergency codes and why they label runways how they do, and all this other fun stuff that just like it doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know what I'm ever going to use it for. I'm deathly afraid of flying. So but whatever you find out, like whatever you're interested in, whatever you're spending time doing right now, it's gonna be useful for you. Like it's gonna end up meaning something. I don't think so far in my life there's something that I've learned that I've been like, yeah, that was useless. And I learned that really early on when when I was in high school, and I was dual enrolling for college. Is where I got most of my college credits. Um, one of the professors was an accountant. They were accounting professor, and she always talked about accounting in our classes that weren't related to accounting. I said, "Why are you talking about us about this? I am never going to use this in my career, ever." Yeah. Uh, what's that, Joe?
Encrypted deaths here. I came here for hands. Where they at? Here. Because our thumbnail picture was the hands.
Oh, yes. So,
Sorry.
but anyway, I learned really early on that you're gonna end up using whatever you think you're not gonna end up using, and that's okay. Just keep learning, just keep growing, just be patient with yourself because whatever you're doing right now is gonna be important in the future. So be patient, take your time with yourself, and offer yourself a little bit of forgiveness along the way.
Yep.
So
I'm glad I'm gonna live to 120 because I've got lots of goals and it's gonna take me at least that long.
120.
Yep. I figure technology is gonna be in place where we can live for a really long time by then. So
Yeah, I heard an old quote, well, an old joke. Because I plan on living forever. So far, so good.
That's great.
Anyway, so thanks for stopping out, guys. Today we were talking about patience. We've kind of reached the end of our show. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about patience with others because, as much as I try my own patience, other people try my patience too. So you need to have patience with many people. Um, so we hope you come back and join us for that discussion. It's going to be a lot of fun. In case you haven't figured out yet, we like to have fun. We like to laugh on this show. We hope you like to laugh on this show. Because otherwise, why? So, go ahead, do the 3-step routine as we've talked about. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and then ring the bell so that you can be notified whenever we go live. We have not only this show, we've got Don't Worry Wednesday, where you can have specific problems and get specific answers. Brought to you by Joe A and Static P. They have some wise words for whatever you've got going on. So that's all for today. We will catch you tomorrow, same time, same place. Double Cup of Joe Show. Bye,
Yes.
guys.
Have a great day, everybody.